All right, shred line. We only got 1 week left of the regular season here. So we're going to get right into it. As we do, we will start each of us, Steve Cheah, Coach Gruden, and myself, with our own shred. It's all voicemails today because we're in between Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, so we're not making anybody work in the studio. So we just got voicemails all throughout the week, people shredding. Steve, what is your shred?
The fine people of Houston, Texas. What an embarrassment. Christmas Day, they go out to a sold-out NRG Stadium. Beyonce's headlining it. The offense puts up 0 points. 0. They get their teeth kicked in. The game is over before Beyonce hits the stage. An embarrassment to be a Texans fan on Christmas Day.
They're done. They stink. Coach, what do you got?
Dave, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. You get shredded today by Baker Mayfield, 5 touchdowns, 360 yards, and then you realize, hey, we cut him. We had him in our team. Then you're flying home to Charlotte, and you're watching Sam Darnold throw for 400 yards for the 14-2 Vikings. They let him go as well. You get what you deserve, Carolina.
I gotta go with this shred. We got a guy on the verge of immortality, NFL immortality. He needs 100 yards to break Eric Dickerson's all-time score rushing record. Let's check out what the expert Steve Cheah said about Saquon Barkley before the season. Play it.
I have a bust. It is a guy who has had over 1,005 yards twice in 6 years. He hasn't had over 350 yards receiving in 4 years. He averaged 3.9 yards per carry last year. He's being drafted right now, ADP 4 among running backs. His name is Saquon Barkley. And I understand he's going to a brand new offense, much better line. They're going to run the ball. Saquon Barkley is not that dude. He was drafted with the second overall pick, and
This is brutal.
General manager at the time.
Can you believe it?
God, let's gong this.
We got 3 guys on the show.
He has been great. He had a great rookie year.
He goes out on a limb and puts his flag in the stand that Saquon Barkley is going to be a bust. He's on the verge of the greatest season in the history of football for a running back. And he's one of the 3 guys on this panel. We can cut that, but to be wrong like that, unbelievable. Just one of the worst takes we've ever had, not only here, but anywhere talking about football, anywhere, Steve.
If you're going to fail spectacularly. I'm rooting for him to get this record. He's 100 yards away from tying it, 101 away from breaking him. Saquon, bring me to immortality with this take, the coldest take of all time.
Coach, do you play him in the final week?
I would play him, absolutely. I think he's got a real chance to do this, Dave. I'd be stunned if they sit him down.
All right, let's get into this should be a good one. We're kicking it off with Frank the Tank and the Dolphins, who, by the way, are alive for playoff berth. So they win today ugly, but Frank, that doesn't stop him from a trash. What do you got with Frank? Voicemail 10.
Frank.
Yeah.
You're on the shred. Leave a message.
Okay. Oh, is there anything more torturous than watching Ron Torbert ref a game? I mean, this guy throws more laundry on the field than anyone else. It's ridiculous. He thinks he's the star of the show. He loves being on camera. He loves turning his mic on. I mean, this guy. But, hi, John. This is Frank the Tank here, and want to invite you to a Frank Walks. That's where greatness happens. Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards. Let's go.
All right. I got to shred our producer. I was told these calls will be in best order to shred. For Frank the Tank, that's how we're starting the shred line with that?
I'm confused. We get Stephen Cheah with a terrible hairstyle, ruining all our credibility here, saying Saquon Barkley's a bad pick, and then we start with the great Frank the Tank. He doesn't understand the shred concept.
Are our producers allowed to talk? Can they chime in? What the hell was that? Why is that the number one voicemail that we have today?
I didn't hear the call. Cheah said Frank called in and Mouse added it to the top. We got it 2 minutes before the show started. I didn't hear it.
All right, let's go with Meek ripping the Giants. Let's hope this is better than what we just started. That almost blows up the whole show. Let's start with Meek and the Giants here.
Coach, I'm calling in. This is Phil from Queens. I watched the New York Giants game. I'm devastated. I just want to say I'm not mad at the players of the Giants. Players are going to play. They played hard. Good for them. I'm mad at our sorry-ass, fat fucking coach for putting us in this situation. Brian Dable should not have a job tomorrow morning. Joe Shane, get the fuck out. Those two people completely screwed this organization. They should not have a chance to pick the quarterback of the future. Fuck those guys. I also want to say, fuck the Indianapolis Colts for the sorriest defense I've ever fucking seen. Drew Lock scored 5 touchdowns on you. This guy makes, what, $4 million? He was the backup to Daniel Jones. That's how bad he was. Tommy DeVito was starting over him. You want Drew Lock. Shred your defense. Shred your defense. And the Indianapolis Colts losing the playoff spot. And guess what? Chris Ballard can drop his hands and say, oh, you can't blame me. Andrew Luck retired on me 5 fucking years ago. What do you want me to do? Fuck the Colts. They will never be successful. I will root against them till the end of time. And this loss by the Giants, this win by the Giants, it feels like a loss. Winning a game when you are so close to getting the first pick, winning a meaningless game that fucks your draft position, I am more mad now than I was when we lost the playoff game to Philly 2 whatever years ago that was. I'm more mad now than I was when Odell won the boat trip and we lost that 2016 game to Green Bay. This is something that damages our future. You know what? Congrats to the Tennessee Titans. You got your quarterback. Congrats to New England Patriots. You have the first pick. You'll either draft Travis Hunter or you'll trade him for 5 more picks and draft good players. The New York Giants are fucked because they won today. Fuck.
Jeez. I mean, that's a little too sophisticated. There's 14 different shreds. He shreds the coach of the Giants, the general manager. He was shredding the Colts and the Patriots. He's shredding the draft process. It's too much for me, Dave. I will say this. That's a miserable human being right there. I did appreciate that.
What do you do, though, Coach? Because you had Shedeur Sanders wearing Giants cleats, saying, I'm going to wear the cleats of the team I'm playing for in the bowl game. They got shredded. But the Giants look like they're all set for Shedeur. You go out and you win that game. If you're the coach, maybe he's worried he won't be the coach, but let's say you are secure. You're like, I know I'm going to be back next year. How do you do that? How do you not win a game that really does just hurt you by winning the game?
Well, maybe they watched Colorado play Brigham Young. I mean, Colorado had 6 first downs, got their ass kicked. Maybe they don't want to draft that guy. Then they're watching the Miami Hurricanes, and Cam Ward comes out of the game at halftime. They got a chance to win a freaking game, and he's on the sidelines. So maybe they said, hell, let's win this game, man. We don't want the top pick. I don't know, Dave.
All right, this call I saw preemptively. I saw Eddie trying to walk this back social media. He was apologizing for what he's about to say in this call. Barstool Eddie upset about the Bears. I think he's upset with you, too. Barstool Eddie, the Bears are 0-10 since he sent me an unsolicited text saying you watching this game in London. Some pretty good football going on with the Bears. They haven't won since. Let's hear what Barstool Eddie has to say.
Hey, this is Eddie from Barstool, Chicago, calling in after this Bears 6-3 loss on Thursday Night Football. This message is for John Gruden. John, I love you. I got to meet you last week. Had a nice day with you. 4 hours in the car. You're a good guy. You love football. You're for the kids. You even donated money to my high school. But don't you fucking dare come to my city again and tell me I'm too negative about the cocksucking Chicago Bears. They are a fucking national embarrassment. They have to run 20 fucking swing screens a game because their offensive line has given up 67 fucking sacks, and we had the second lowest payroll towards the position. The O-line couldn't block a fucking tailpipe with a cucumber, and our staff has worse clock management than a fucking high school freshman who is a full-time tutor. Our owners are just worried about collecting their fucking Cracker Jack prizes in their suite and getting home to watch a rerun of the fucking Twilight Zone. And you tell me about the history of the stadium? Let me tell you this, John. We had a fan reach out. They ran out of fucking hot dogs in section 112 last game. It took the guy 20 minutes to get a fucking Polish sausage. If you think that's fucking acceptable on any level, then maybe you've lost this stuff, John. I love you, like I said. This isn't personal, but when it comes to the Chicago fucking Bears, don't you dare tell me that I am too negative because they deserve every ounce of negativity for what they're doing to us as fans and this fucking story franchise. They fucking suck, and I hate them, and they're ruining my fucking life.
All I can say, Dave, is Barstool Eddie, I'm really sorry. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, man. Please accept my apology.
There's so many teams that you go back, you're like, oh, they're the worst team in football. Oh, they're the worst team in football. But it's definitely worse when you have hope. And those guys had hope this year. It's like Jets fans had hope. And I didn't know about them running out of Polish sausages during the game. That's unacceptable in a 6-3 Thursday night game. But they're down bad. Broncos fan wants to talk about Sean Payton saying he's nutless for not going for 2 to win the game. That was a wild one.
Coach, I'm hurt. The Broncos have a shot to win the game. They go for 2, 8 seconds left. You got to go for 2 there. Absolutely 0 point playing overtime football. Makes 0 sense. You go into KC next week, you get their 2s. You get Carson Wentz, you get the 2s. If you make that 2-point conversion there, you get to sit your starters, Denver. What was Sean Payton doing playing for overtime? That is pussy shit football, and I am not here for it. Absolutely atrocious. He should be ashamed. He does not have nuts like Chucky does. Let me tell you, Chucky's going for 2 there, Coach. First time, long time, and I appreciate it. Love you, Coach.
Hey, I agree that I was thinking Sean was going for it. Didn't you see him send his offense out there initially? But then they challenged the catch, and then they changed their mind and went for overtime. I was surprised. You're playing with house money right there. There's no way you should score with 8 seconds left. And then they win the instant replay challenge. I still don't think that was a catch, Dave, the way I understand a catch. But when you're playing with house money and you got Joe Burrow who's lighting you up for about 400 yards, I was surprised he didn't go for 2 in the win.
Does it change your mind, though, that if they got a tie, that like kind of helps them? That would eliminate the Bengals if they got a tie.
Yeah, but you can't really want to see Joe Burrow for much longer.
Yeah.
The one guy I don't want to see, if I'm in the AFC and I get a playoff berth, I don't want to see that guy, man. He's playing as good as anybody. He won't win the MVP, but he certainly could and probably should. That's how good he's played.
You want to talk about guys with no nuts, and we'll switch to college football. The Toledo-Pittsburgh 6 overtime game.
Yeah.
You got 2 teams that in a bowl that nobody's heard of, both 500 teams, and Narduzzi has the ball for Pitt on the 1 because there was a penalty, and he still kicks the extra point of the field goal. I forget what it was, to send it into like the 5th overtime. That guy has no testicles. Like what? That was one of the strangest decisions in a meaningless bowl game that only people are really watching because Toledo stormed the field twice, got called back twice. Crazy town. Pats fan wants to shred Mayo in the Pats, who looked awful this week.
Gerard Mayo is his head is so far up his fucking ass, he doesn't know anything. The man was fired because he went on a field trip to Israel. I want to send his ass back to Israel. This guy doesn't know how to coach a fucking football team. Don't even get me started with Javon Baker, that bum fuck. He said that he made people in wheelchairs stand up 5 seconds after he was drafted. Motherfucker, my grandmother hasn't stood up in 20 fucking years. Robert Kraft is so fucking gone. He has dementia. This team needs to be blown the fuck up except for Drake May. And fuck you, Alex Van Pelt. Fuck you, DeMarcus Covington. This team is so far behind the rest of the NFL. Fuck!
Wow.
I don't know how you can get that fired up if you're Pat. Yeah, we stink. We got 7 rings, 6 rings.
You also want to stink right now. You have the number 1 pick right now.
We probably end up with Travis Hunter, who wants to come here. He's talking about playing with Drake May. It's 1 year. This team he inherited the worst team in the league, basically. I get it. They stink. You know what Pats fans are having right now? Lad McConkey flashbacks. That's all anyone's talking about. They're looking at the two guys we took before McConkey, like we could have this guy. He shoved it up her ass. Everyone's having Lad McConkey flashbacks. Texans fans wants to talk. The Texans are one of the biggest disappointments of the league. Still crying, probably the quarterback. Let's go.
Help press, Coach Gruden, and that half Asian looking weird guy. I want to talk about the murder that happened today on Christmas Day. The Houston fucking Texans are an abomination. They just played like they were wearing blindfolds and oven mitts out there. 2 points, 2 motherfucking points. Our O-line was about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. They had C.J. Stroud running around that backfield like he was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. These motherfuckers didn't even need to bring a defense. They could have put their practice equipment out there, and it would have gotten even more sacks. This offense, man. Coach, tell me what we need to do. This offense, my grandmother's bridge club could have put up more points, and half of them are asleep, and the other half are fucking dead, John. I've seen more offensive production from a broken vending machine. We gave the Ravens a fucking bye week. There's better coordination in a kindergarten square dance competition. And at least those motherfuckers get juice boxes after that. I need something a hell of a lot stronger after watching that disaster class of a football match. It just pisses me off, man. A Merry Christmas to you all, except whoever put together that fucking game plan.
Well, let's be honest. We said it the last 2 weeks, Dave. The offensive line hasn't been disappointing. It's been horrific. I mean, they get 5 sacks. The Ravens have 5 sacks. You rush the ball for 58 yards. You have the ball for 23 minutes. And you really spoiled my Christmas dinner. Let's get on to the next team. That was the most disappointing ass-kicking of the weekend.
And he had fights off screen. Mixon was getting a fight with somebody. Steeler. This is a team that's totally falling apart. The Steelers fan wants to rip the entire team.
These Pittsburgh Steelers, coach. You know, through the first 13 games of the season, you're like, okay, here we go. Mike Tomlin's got shit figured out. We're doing well. Wilson's throwing the ball well. And then we just get through a 3-game stretch and just completely shit the fucking bed. I'm sick of pretending that Najee Harris is a good running back, by the way. He's had 3 fucking games over 100 yards there against the Raiders, the Jets, and the Giants. Just absolute shit teams when he shines. Anybody that's worth the shit, he just folds like laundry. Russell Wilson can't move up in the pocket. Love's taking a sack, can't move up. George Pickens. Is there anybody fucking lazier in the world without a football in their hand than George Pickens? TJ Watt doesn't deserve this. Cam Hayward doesn't deserve this. I'm sick and fucking tired of watching the Steelers get shredded.
That's a good shred. I mean, they've lost 3 straight games. They've lost 4 out of 6. Everybody was excited for a while, but they have lost that excitement. And when you watch the Steelers play the other day, don't forget Pat Mahomes has a limpy ankle. He can barely even walk. They don't get a sniff. No sacks. They threw more quick screens, more RPOs against their zone defense than I've ever seen before. And they made a ton of yardage after the catch. To me, the Steeler defense was just as disappointing as Najee Harris and Russell Wilson. And Freiermuth's fumble, the great Trent McDuffie ripped it out of his chest. There's a lot of mistakes right now in Pittsburgh, and if it wasn't for Bosworth, they would really be in trouble.
Yeah, and the thing with Pittsburgh, they could usually hang their hat on the defense, keeping them in the game and mucking it up. They're getting torched, and the offense is not built to play like that, so everything snowballs. All right, we got a 13-year-old. This is the youngest caller we've ever had on the shred line. Wants to talk Jets football. Wants to start drinking at age 13.
Hi, yeah, this is Tommy. I'm a 13-year-old from New Jersey, and I'm a New York Jets fan. Holy shit, we suck. This team is, like, absolutely horrendous. Like, the team upsets me. Like, I wake up and I'm upset because I have to watch this team play. Like, today we lose to Buffalo. By no means did I expect this team to win. But holy crap! This team's horrendous! Get Rodgers out of here! I hate people saying that Rodgers isn't the problem. Get the fuck out of here. Rodgers is horrendous. I'm 13 years old. I should not need to, I don't know what the strongest liquor is, but I need to down that shit down my fucking throat. Because this fucking franchise is so fucking broken. Get
All right, we get
Johnson,
this
Vinny
guy. I
Ass
can't
outta
hang up.
here.
I can't cut the things off, so I'll just say it when we go. I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers, I said it last week. The documentary would drive me nuts. It's one thing to lose, but when you have a documentary on Netflix and you're doing eucalyptus or whatever he's doing, that party where everyone's like drinking the hot tea and they're dancing around. He's talking about all these world issues, and you're like 3 and 13 or whatever you are. You got the boombox. I don't know if you guys saw this video with the guy with the boombox right next to him walking on the field. When you're the joke of the league, I don't know I think it was Gangster in Paradise from Coolio. It's gotten so bad. I don't know if that was edited in or not.
This is unbelievable.
But this isn't edited in. This guy with the boombox.
That's the greatest thing I've ever seen right there. That's intimidating the Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills were intimidated when they came out with the boombox. You know, the good thing is I got a fortune cookie right here from my friend who runs a Chinese restaurant here in Tampa, and he's a Jets fan. So I got the fortune, and it says, "Oh, no, we are in deep shit." So you're in trouble, man. You are really in trouble.
Is that the same place, Coach, you had us order from, and then when we showed up, it was just closed? They took our money.
Yeah, I knew you were in town. I knew Portnoy was in town.
Good Tampa hospitality. Had a big dinner we ordered. Sent the guy. They took the order, showed up, door was closed. End of the story.
That caller was 13 years old. He's never seen the Jets make the playoffs. Haven't made it in 14 years.
You got to improve hey, Dave, we got to do something about the language on this show. I mean, some of these callers are dropping a lot of bombs on.
Yeah, well, I tried to tone it down. He was the worst. The 13-year-old kid, he was the worst one. I will say it's also his face, Aaron Rodgers' face. It's just, it never changes. He's just, I'm glad I'm not a Jets fan right now. Bears fan wants to talk about the franchise. I guess it's a shred line and people are upset.
This fucking Bears game, this fucking organization, these dumb fucking fans wanted to hire Thomas Brown after he can call a few plays. We're weak. It's the worst culture in the NFL. We can't kick a 57-yard field goal and try to tie it. We're throwing screens. We can't block. Figure it out.
Yeah, the Bears fans are down bad.
It's tough. That was a tough night. It was a rainy, ugly night. Caleb sprint out to his left. He got out of trouble. He threw a touchdown pass, and the poor backup left guard held that guy. And I had to go to bed, Dave. I had to turn it off from there. I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt like Barstool Eddie. You know, I'm starting to feel the pain. I'm not even from Chicago, but I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked every time I come up to see you guys.
And honestly, they got to go back. I know you got Thursday night football, you got the Christmas football, you got Saturday football, you got Sunday football. Give me a full slate on Sunday when teams can practice, and give me the Monday night game. Fine. Sunday, but this it's crazy. Like the teams don't even get to practice.
It's too much, too.
It is
overload.
Crazy. I wish I could really come clean and explain it in great detail. But let's get to some more callers, Dave.
All right, we got another Broncos fan.
Hey, Gruden. Noah from Philly here. Huge Broncos fan. Don't ask questions. Why the fuck does Sean Payton think checking the ball down in overtime is a good idea? Bo Nix and Marvin Mims have some connection I've never seen before in my entire life, let alone Cortland Sutton being the tallest guy on the field. What are we doing? Checking the ball down. We're playing for a tie? You got to play to win the game, John. Thanks.
I agree with you. I've never met a Bronco fan from Philadelphia, so we all have issues. But I'll say this. The tie would have got you a playoff berth. Am I right on that, Dave?
Yes.
So maybe there is some feeling, you know what, maybe we walk out of here with the tie. But I do agree with you. But let's be honest. The Broncos, they really don't have a great running game. Their whole offense is Bo Nix, RPOs, and Cortland Sutton. And luckily for them, Mims has come out of nowhere to make some big plays. But I think this, Dave, I think the Broncos are still a year or two away from being a legitimate contender. I don't know why we're even talking about the Broncos right now.
And to be honest, the bigger shred from that game should be the Bengals play calling down the stretch. When they ran the ball, guy gets hurt, burn the timeout. If you just, what is the point of running the ball if you're not trying to score right away? They could have taken a knee. I think they would have kicked a field goal with 7 seconds left. I think that's what it would have been like. The whole thing would have been avoided. No one shredded them because they won the game. This caller wants to shred Steve Cheah.
Yeah, this is Connor from New Jersey. Looking to shred, I guess, Dave and you, Coach Gruden, for allowing another week of Stephen Cheah to be involved in this show. I mean, talk about an all-time pussy. Just a flat, unfunny, zero charisma, fake ball-knowing pussy. I mean, anyone can watch the all 22 of the Bucks and, act like they can go toe-to-toe talking football with Coach, and even you, Prez, who doesn't watch a lick of fucking football anyway. Really clean it up. I mean, Steve Cheah, I don't even want to watch the fucking shred line knowing that I got to look at Steve Cheah's stupid fucking face.
Cut him off. But first of all,
wow.
In all fairness, I led with a shred of Cheah. So you can't say, well, let him get away with it.
Cheah's had a tough night tonight. Wow.
Eagles fans are mad. I called Saquon Barkley a top 13 back all year.
Maybe you can go to the Jets game next week, Steven, and carry the boom box out of the locker room.
Honestly, those are the things I just don't know how they happen in life. Like, there's nobody on the Jets who's like, hey, we're going to go get our ass kicked right now. We're playing a good team. We suck. We've won like 3 games. Our quarterback is doing some tribal dance on Netflix right now. Maybe put the gigantic boombox away. Like, nobody know. And the boombox was right next to Aaron Rodgers. It's right next to him. It's like he's the one.
The Niners have been doing that, but when they're doing it, it's like they're walking out for like a home divisional playoff game or the NFC Championship game. They're not 4-11 going to get killed by Buffalo.
Yeah, that matters. You can use the boombox if you're winning and you're getting ready for the Super Bowl or a big game. When you're the Jets, you can't. You got to put the boombox away. That should have been my shred. Colts fans blame Seth the singer for the team sucking. I don't know what this is going to be.
This is a Colts fan after watching a 40-5 piece to the goddamn Giants, looking like prime fucking Tom Brady out there. Chris Ballard has got to fucking go. It's a fucking joke. The culture's a joke, and it's because of that Seth guy. This is our fucking loser. No wonder the culture's shit. We got a bunch of hobbits out there on defense. Fire everybody. That's it. Fuck them.
Am I crazy or this becoming like the Colts trademark? I remember Jacksonville, right? One year that Andrew Luck, they just had to beat Jacksonville. Did Jacksonville even have a win that year? They lost that game. You had the owner. He's in front of the plane, like basically apologizing. These are games. I was looking at this. The Colts, they play somebody bad next week too.
Hey,
like all they had to do is win today and next week, and
You're
they're in. And they're playing somebody.
Jacksonville next week.
Yeah, so it was right there for them.
They have not been real impressive all year. They were lucky to beat your Patriots up there a couple weeks ago. Last play of the game, the quarterback ran a pole vault into the end zone for a touchdown. But today, the tackling was horrific. I don't know if you saw, but some of these giant receivers, I mean, Neighbors is a hell of a player, but they miss about 9 tackles, man. I mean, I don't know. They don't wrap up.
He's still celebrating on the sideline.
They take poor angles. And like you said, Drew Lock threw 4 touchdown passes, scrambled for another. I would not want to be in Indiana tonight.
Browns fan can't take it anymore. I don't know how you get this mad this late when you're like a Browns fan. And this is why the shred line probably works better in the beginning of the season when teams have hope. How can you still be mad if you're a Browns fan right now? At what point do you just accept it? Anyways, let's hear what he says.
What's up, guys? This is John from Ohio. And this shred is for the miserable Cleveland Browns, the dumbest franchise in the history of sports. I'll tell you what, man. After this Watson restructure, I'm done. I'm done, man. We have an owner, Gibby Haslam. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was ripping off truck drivers, for Christ's sake. I mean, this dumbass, hillbilly owner hired a bunch of Ivy League nerds to run an NFL team. They hired a fucking baseball guy, the Moneyball nerd, to run this team. And they made the worst trade in the history of the NFL. I mean, you're 3-12, and the owner says we're keeping everyone next year. I want some fucking accountability, man. And for the fans who talk about Stefanski, he's two-time coach of the year. He's Matt Nagy. He's Brandon Staley. Just another nerd. He's not a leader of men. They got rid of Baker Mayfield. I mean, you got rid of your first franchise quarterback in 20 years. I mean, they draft like dog shit. This franchise is a fucking embarrassment. And I pray to God there's new stadium that they're playing out. I hope that gets flooded. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I got to ask this, Dave. Is Jameis Winston hurt? Because Dorian Robinson, I don't know. It was torture watching this offense play the last 2 weeks. 3 points today, 6 points last week. When Jameis was out there, they were moving the ball, man, making big plays. He had a couple turnovers, but he makes the game exciting. I saw every fan in Cleveland today look like they had to go to the bathroom in the worst way. It was a miserable-looking crowd.
I don't know how you're doing it, Coach, but your camera zooms in and out. Like when you get excited, it zooms in.
I know.
It fits the whole shred line vibe.
Yeah.
I know it's not on purpose.
I'm sorry. I just got done watching the Cleveland-Miami game, and I feel nauseous. I feel really sick right now. So I hope the shred line show is over soon. It was awful.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson has never led a team to more than 14 points. He's a mobile quarterback, 0 career rushing touchdowns, 1 career passing touchdown, 9 interceptions.
But where is Jameis Winston? I mean, they beat the Steelers on Thursday night. It was the only exciting Thursday night game I've seen in 7 years. And the next thing I know, he's gone.
Well, that was like
understand.
2 months ago. He threw 432 interceptions in between that Thursday night game and this show. Okay. I also say, what would you do, Coach, if you're the head coach and you're in this franchise and they say, hey, we're bringing in a guy to run this team. And by the way, he's never done anything with football. He works in a totally different sport, which is what they did.
What do? I would probably call you and ask if you want to go have some pizza and have a few beers. I would say we're not going to be here very long.
Colts fan can't believe the team he is watching.
Yeah, I'm here to shred the entire Indianapolis Colts franchise. We just lost to the New York Giants, 2-13. This cannot be stated enough. 3rd and 8. We run the ball. We run the ball every single play. 45 points for the worst team in the football league is crazy. I want to know, what is our coaching staff doing? Offense, defense, special teams, or GM. They're all gone. They all need to go. Our quarterback sits out because his back is sore when the game is on the line. Our playoff hopes are on the line. We lose to the 2-13 Giants and their 3rd straight quarterback.
That's crazy.
Drew Lock was like prime Dan Marino with 5 touchdowns and a perfect passer rating. Someone give me some help.
You know, it's crazy because you blinked in that game and they were down 14-0. Like it was so obvious. You turn the game on, it's like, oh, they're down 14. We can see what's going to happen here. Just a brutal loss for them. Brutal.
Yeah, then you go to the locker room at halftime, Dave. You come out to start the 3rd quarter. You kick off to the Giants, and some guy I've never heard of goes 100 yards untouched. It was a demoralizing defeat. The Giants haven't scored 45 points in the last 2 months, and they got 45 today against the Colts. They should get rid of that horseshoe and put something else on that helmet like manure.
They are vaguely, you could argue them right now, the Patriots, they were obviously relevant for a long time, the Colts, because you have Peyton Manning and then you get Luck, Patriots, Brady. You take those 2 guys out. No, some people may not remember. Cheah, you may be too young to remember this. I'll go back Tecmo Bowl. Before those 2 quarterbacks got there, those are the 2 worst franchises in the AFC for a long time. The Colts and the Patriots are horrible, and then they became elite. We'll take a couple more. We're not doing the live calls, so we'll end it a little bit quick today because we're in the break. So I'll try to find a couple of the best ones here. Bears fan shreds live from Soldier Field, 143.
Hopefully it wasn't in section 112.
No, without the sausage.
Hey, Coach, I don't know if you can fucking hear this message in the background here. I'm sitting here in Soldier Field after possibly the worst fucking performance I've ever seen out of the goddamn Chicago Bears in my fucking life. If we're going to run one more goddamn bubble screen to fucking get a first down on 3rd and 15, I will fucking puke. This is terrible. Can you hear the background noise in the stadium right now? This team needs fucking cold. I'm tired of this. Thanks, Coach.
You know, I will say this. DJ Moore, to me, is one of the top receivers in the NFC. I really like him. But his route tree this year consists of a lot of one-step quick screens, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of 5-yard patterns, and less. Everything is after the catch. They just don't let this guy go down the field. But I'm with that caller. I hate bubble screens. I hate quick screens. Ask yourself this, Dave. Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver in NFL history. Why don't you find a cut up, because you have access to everything? Find me 3 bubble screens that Jerry Rice caught in his career.
I'll tell you this. Caleb Williams is neck and neck with our guy Steve Cheah for the worst preseason line of the year. His was on Saquon Barkley. Caleb Williams telling the punter they weren't going to need him this year because they weren't punting before the season. 2 of the most outrageous. So maybe he's sitting out and say, if you're going to be wrong spectacularly.
Coach, serious question. Caleb Williams seems to be a see it, but to throw it guy. Can that change? And how does he change that in the offseason?
I think he's the lightning rod right now. I think when you look at the Bears, you have to admit their pass protection, their lack of depth on the offensive line is critical. They have 3 receivers that want to be the number 1 receiver, and they got a tight end that needs to see the ball, and Swift wants to carry it. They really don't have any kind of identity, but it all comes back to a rookie quarterback. And I just think they need to get some pieces up front like the old Bears did and start jamming it down people's throat with the guy named Sweetness. Let's get some Jimbo Coverts and Keith Van Horns and Mark Bortz, Tom Thayer. Let's build this thing up front, and let's let this guy run the ball, run some play-action passes like Darnold and some of these other quarterbacks. But right now, they're asking a hell of a lot of a young quarterback in Chicago.
Let's go to Shred Thursday Night Football, 126. It's a fair shred. We'll see if it's any good.
I'm ready to fucking shred Gruden. I don't know what I'm watching. It's Thursday Night Football. There's more friggin' punts than there is points. This is horrible football. I'm going to have to go to my old boy, Dan Hawkins from Colorado. This is NFL football. It's the NFC. This ain't intramurals. We can't score points. What are we doing out here? It's supposed to be Christmas week. We can't do nothing out here. There's no points. Seahawks don't want to do nothing. Can't do nothing for the Bears. They're just scaring them to screw up. What the hell? Dan Hawkins says, go play intramurals, brother. Go play intramurals.
It's an awful product. All the games, these midweek games, were all awful things to watch.
You know what else, Dave, is think about this. It's Christmas Day. It's a special day for a lot of reasons. And they tell you, okay, you're the head coach of Seattle. You let your players have a little bit of time on Christmas Eve with their families because they're all young men with young kids. And then on Christmas Day, hey, let's get on an airplane and fly across the country and sit in a strange hotel on Christmas night because we play on Thursday. Give me a break. You know, I think these guys should get some time on Christmas to be with their families. I think we have enough days in the month to play football games. We don't need to be playing on Christmas, let alone Thursday.
Yeah, I agree. We'll go to one more. I'll try to pick a winner here. The Jets fan is dying of the flu and says he's in hell. 145.
Coach, Dave, Cheah, these fucking Jets are going to kill me. I'm laying down on the couch fucking trying to enjoy a Sunday, which I've only done 4 times so far this year. The fucking Jets are a nightmare. I've been a lifelong fan. I've seen them in the playoffs fucking like once or twice with Mark Sanchez. I have the fucking flu. And it's 19-0. The Jets can't do shit. We scored 9 points last week. We have 0 points today. Aaron Rodgers is trying to cherry pick fucking Devontae Adams for his 500th touchdown. so they can frame it up in his fucking piece of shit house in Montclair that he's moving out of anyway. So what the fuck are they up to? The Jets have the worst coaches. Jeff Ulbrich is not a head coach. He's a good defensive coordinator. He can't inspire men. He can't inspire boys. This is a travesty to watch. They're a nightmare of a team. And of course, I'm born into being a Jets fan. And I've got to watch them every fucking week. I watch people play like the fucking Lions. I watch all these fucking teams. Green Bay, Texas. Who gives a fuck who? The play calling is so much different. We are running the most boring, basic bullshit play calling I've ever fucking seen. Jets need a new fucking offensive coordinator. We need fucking, I don't even know what we need at this point. People say, a shred on Jets fans, they say, oh, let's start again. Let's start fresh, get somebody new quarterback. I can't do another rebuild. I can't. What are you, insane? I can't wait another 4 or 5 years. Fucking Aaron Rodgers is our only hope, and he sucks. God damn, they're gonna fucking kill me. Oh, by the way, I'm Mike from New Jersey. Bye.
Yeah, I think Mike from New Jersey's got every right to be upset. I mean, they went all in. They brought in Rodgers. They gave up draft picks to get him, Dave. Then they let him bring in Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams, and they brought in the little slot receiver from Kentucky. I can't remember his name now. They also brought in Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, 2 tackles. Vera Tucker's a first-rounder at guard. They brought in John Simpson to play guard. They gave him $10 million. The center's a high draft pick, and they got Breece Hall, and they got another hell of a receiver from Ohio State. They can't score.
Garrett Wilson.
Something is really wrong here, and I think it's a lot more than just the play caller and the coach. There is something really wrong in that building.
And then through all of it, Aaron Rodgers is on again. He's drinking hot tea, being like, maybe I'll be back, maybe I won't. Why would they want you back? Why would?
There was a report today. Rappaport tweeted that Garrett Wilson is going to want to be traded if Rodgers is back. So that whole thing is just going up in flames.
Yeah, they're falling. He's walking out with a boombox next to him, like they're Zonka's Dolphins going for a perfect season or something.
Maybe they had the boombox real loud so they couldn't hear each other cussing each other out before the game.
It's that, or he was doing the magic tea in the locker room, and they didn't even know where they were walking out. Anyways, we got kickoff in 10 minutes. Last week of the NFL season. So next week, who's alive here? We have the Chargers beat the Chiefs. Are they playing the Chiefs, right?
Chiefs are at Denver. The Chargers are at the Raiders.
If Denver wins, they're in. If Denver loses and Dolphins win, they're in. If Denver loses, Dolphins lose, and Bengals win, Bengals somehow sneak in. So that's really all that's left next week. Thank you, fellas. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Keep
Dave.
shredding.